Welcome back to another episode of Faithfully Stewarding, a new Bible-based biblical financial principles video podcast where biblical principles and practical money strategies come together to help you honor God with your finances. So I'm your Chief Stewardship Officer, Lilius Folks John, and I'm so glad you're here. Let's start by talking about last week's episode, which was brand new. First episode. I recorded that episode actually in September while I was out in Portland, Oregon at the FinCon conference. And when I watched it to edit and post, oh my gosh, the cringing. I cringed so bad. It was so bad. But I hope at least you guys caught the message, right? That there's often money in your budget that you just have to find. So, though I feel like my energy was really low and I was really monotone, and I probably didn't want to be as loud as I usually am because I was at a location and I was trying to not move because they told me if I moved, the microphone wouldn't pick up my audio. So, anyway, a lot of technical things that are not in my normal space where I'm comfortable right here up in my attic. Um, but I got through it. And so the good thing is getting through the first episode, now I can focus on this second episode today. So today we are going to lay the foundation and get to the truth behind every financial breakthrough, challenge, and decision for the believer. It's getting yourself to accept the truth that God owns everything. If we understand this concept, um, we will have peace in our finances, even when money is tight. And that'll be our next episode, like how to manage when money is tight. If you misunderstand this, you will always feel stressed. You will think that somehow you are responsible for getting yourself to the next great thing. You're responsible getting yourself to the next job. You're responsible for getting yourself to the next dollar. And while there is some responsibility that you have, you're not the owner. So when you embrace that, it gives you a peace and makes your whole financial situation just feel lighter, clearer. It's, you realize it's just you're there to manage and not own. But let's dive into that a little bit more. What does that really mean? We're going to pop over to the Bible, our guidebook, workbook, and textbook for all things in life, specifically in our finances as well. Let's go to Psalm 24, verse 1, where it says, "The earth is the Lord's and everything in it." And so the long and short of this is this: everything belongs to God. Our house, our car, our income, our children, our marriage, our lives. Everything belongs to Him. And that means if we look at our finances from that same perspective, our income, our assets, the increase we've received, the opportunities we have, our retirement planning, and our future, it will help you tremendously. We are not the owners. God is the owner of all. We are the managers, what God calls in His word stewards, faithful stewards, stewards of what already belongs to God. The Bible tells us He owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. That is a lot of cows. So it lets us just get a picture of the vastness of who our God is, how He is owner of everything, and all that we can be given jurisdiction over to manage and enjoy, because enjoyment is not excluded from the equation. But When you shift your mind from owner to steward, your entire financial life will transform. So, let's talk about why it matters to make this mental shift, right? And I can remember in my pre-save days believing I got to chase every dollar. I have to thrive. I have to hustle. I have to work. I have to. But if I'm doing everything, what does God have to do for me? God tells us in his word, and it's not because he owes me, it's because he made promises to those who follow him, right? God tells us in his word, I know what you need before you ask me. I know that you need food, clothes, drinks, shoes, shelter. I will provide those. He tells us in Matthew, why do we chase after those things? Even those who are pagan need those things. He knows we need it. He's not going to make us chase after it the way someone who's an unbeliever has to chase after it. And when I was an unbeliever, I was chasing after it. He tells us he will take care of those things for us. But then in the book of Luke 16:10 or 10:16, he tells us if you can't manage the little bit I've given you, who's going to trust you to the true riches? So we have this interesting dichotomy happening of where God is telling us, don't chase it, but what I do give you, manage well. So if you believe that you are the owner or that you have to chase and thrive, he also gives us another Bible verse where he says that we won't have to toil and like work ourselves to death, that we can be blessed and be given even without hard toil. So if we believe that we're the owner, then that becomes your mindset, right? You will think about budgeting from the mindset of ownership. You will think about saving from giving, debt payoff, investing, everything. But when you turn your mindset to being a steward, and a steward is someone who is responsible for managing what belongs to another. So, God, and I say this all the time, right? Like, God is not on a budget, we are. God is not broke. Some of us are, right? He owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. He has access to everything. In the Garden of Eden, I don't know if you've ever picked up on this, but it tells us that there was gold in the Garden of Eden and that it was good. It's shocked me when this was pointed out to me because Adam and Eve had nothing to buy. Yet God gave them access to gold and other precious gems in the garden as his children. Then they ruined it and he kicked them out and did not give them access. And now they had to go work for everything they had. Wrap your mind around that for a second. So when you shift to a steward and you say, Lord, I want to be under your umbrella, I want to be under your refuge, I want to uh, honor and glory to your son. I want to accept his finished work on the cross. I want to be his disciple. I want to be born again. You're now shifting your access. So before we're saved, we probably are striving and thriving and hustling. And I used to definitely believe you have to hustle. Oh my gosh, I was the hustle queen. At one point in time, I had 3 jobs, right? Hustling, thriving, working, overworking, killing yourself with work. When you shift into God's house and you are his child, he takes care of you. He is responsible for the things that you need. It's no longer you being responsible for everything yourself. So, this mindset matters because it creates one, it shifts our stress, and two, it creates an opportunity for us to allow God to take care of us as he has promised. Because a lot of us don't let God take care of us. We are self-reliant and we're like, oh, I need $100 for this. Let me go to my bank account. I've got $100. I'm going to pay for this thing. Where when we need to shift ourselves from owner to steward, we can say to God, hey, Lord, this thing requires $100. Do you want me to pay for it out of the provision you've already given me? Or do you want to give it to me yourself? Because God will show up in that way and provide for you in that way as well. Sometimes he knows you have the money. He's already provided you to take care of something, but he wants to show up and show off a little bit and do it for you. Think about the story, and I don't have the scripture in front of me, but the story of when Jesus is telling Peter to go and pay their taxes, and they had to pay taxes to Caesar. Well, where does Jesus tell Peter to get the money from? He doesn't say, go and ask. Now, Judas was the one who held the money back, right? He doesn't go and tell Peter to get the coin from Judas in the coin purse from what they have. He tells him, go and pick up a fish, like go and catch a fish, and in the mouth of the fish, you will find a denarius, and it will be enough for my taxes and yours. He could have gone to Judas, who held the money. He was the treasurer for the disciples. But he wanted to show Peter, let me show you how I can provide for you in a non-traditional way. But this is why this mindset matters. It changes even how you perceive money on a daily basis, how you engage, and how you worry, right? If I know the Lord is going to take care of me, there is far less I need to worry about. When I know I don't have enough for something, I don't have to go into panic mode. I can go straight to the Lord, first and foremost. It also tells us in that same chapter of Luke that um, there are people in the world who are more shrewd in their handling of finance than the people of God. Meaning there are many people who are unbelievers who are much better at managing money than some of God's people. The Bible says the rain falls on the just and unjust the same. I am here for those who are believers who want to enjoy the benefit of having really disciplined personal finances, plus the supernatural hand of God in their life. To enjoy the fruit of all of that discipline, all of that willpower for all of these years. Because that talent or that skill is not reserved for Christians. It's for anybody who takes the time to learn the principles and apply them in their lives. But when you have that spiritual relationship on top of the natural management of money, think about it as a supernatural application of good money management. You have your natural skill, and then you've got Jesus on top of that. We want both. That's why this podcast, Faithful Stewarding, exists. It's to help you, number one, get comfortable with having these conversations now, so you are not scrambling later, confused, unprepared, afraid of what's happening next because financially you're not ready. It's great to be a good Christian, right? To be able to pray and talk to the Lord and um, go to church and serve, but we also should want to be stewards. Stewards of money, stewards of his word, stewards of the kingdom. We have a responsibility, not just in the church, but we have a responsibility in the greater world as kingdom builders, as believers. Some of us are going to be called to industry. Some of us are going to be called to the marketplace. Some of us are going to be called to politics and other areas, or to be an accountant, right, for a large corporation. And we have to have the wherewithal to do good management as a steward for the Lord of his kingdom while we're on this earth. I shared before that I went through a season where I was on hustle mode. Hustle, hustle, work, work, losing sleep, the whole 9 yards. And you get to a point where you realize, like, wait, this is not working, or this is not worth it. And the Lord made it very plain to me. He let me scramble and chase dollars for a while. That's a natural gift that He has given me a long time, right? So I started in personal finance in 2002 after I had a horrible experience with my own finances. Everything tanked. I spent all my inheritance, I blew my credit, and I built them back up. And He gave me that desire, right, to learn everything I could about personal finance, read every book I could get my hands on, subscribe to every magazine. And so I built over time with education and practice a good handle on money management, personal money management. But I still had not entered the supernatural realm of God being an owner and me being a steward until many years later. So while I had good money management, I was able to save and I was able to pay off debt and freed myself from thinking I was responsible for everything in my financial life. I realized, Lilius, you're worrying about money that does not belong to you. You are a manager of God's resources, not your own. And that moment really changed everything for me because it brought me into partnership with God. Instead of thinking He's there to deal with me spiritually in my character or my heart with serving or community service, it brought me into partnership with Him in every area. And I've shared this before that for a lot of Christians, their wallet is the last place they surrender to the Lord. So they'll give their heart, they'll give their children, they'll give their marriage, but that wallet is like a little wrestling match. Like you're wrestling for uh that control, to let go of that control. But it brought me into partnership with the Lord and really changed my whole financial life. Being a steward is about obedience, not ownership. It's about building that trust with the Lord, letting the Lord know, I trust you. I trust you. I trust you to provide for me. I want you to provide for me. I know that I'm limited in what I can provide for myself. So, what does practical stewardship look like for you? Stewardship is not about being perfect. I've shared personally that my husband and I racked up debt from 2022 to 2023 when he lost his job. It's not about being perfect. I teach personal finance, but I am not a perfect personal finance person. I still have life. That life's me. I have children. I was a caretaker for my mother for 4 years. My sister has developmental delays and she lives here. There are things that happen in life that knock even the best of us off of our A game and make us have to adjust our financial situation. So it's not about being perfect, it's about having a partnership. It's asking God about providing for you. And of course, to get there, what's the criteria? You have to be walking with Him. Have you submitted your life to Christ? Have you chosen to accept Christ as your Lord and Savior? Because there's a different relationship with those who are not walking with Him compared to those who are. That partnership with the Lord means talking to the Lord about your money, asking Him before you make a big spend. Lord, should I buy this? Right? And it might seem silly to some of you, but it's what you should do, right? Should you buy this? Show the Lord your budget. Lord, this is my budget. Do you see any ways that I can improve it? Let Him work with you. It looks like saving diligently. Lord, I don't think I have a lot, but I'm going to start by saving $5. Then I'm going to save 10. Then I'm going to save 50. Then I'm going to save 100, then 200, then 500, then 1,000, right? It's paying off debt diligently because He tells us in His word, the borrower is slave to the lender, and none of us should want to be slaves to debt because that is bondage. It should be giving cheerfully. But these are all steps. You've got to start at step one, asking the Lord, Lord, work with me in my finances. And something that somebody asked me this week, they said, if you haven't been diligent with your finances, how do you go back to God and say it? I said, just like that. Lord, I have not been diligent with my finances. Please forgive me. Can you show me how to manage my money your way? That's simple. And He will. I want to share an important resource with you guys. It's the Savvy Ladies Financial Helpline. It is completely free. And I've been chatting a lot with you guys about the Savvy Ladies. They are a nonprofit organization that provides resources to women. They can also connect you with certified financial experts at no charge who can help you with budget questions, retirement planning, credit and debt management, navigating money and major life decisions, milestones, disruptions, loss of work, major medical setbacks, financial concerns that you may just be afraid to ask anybody else. I've shared with you guys that one of their priorities is to just get women to have open, honest money conversations. Within the first 2 weeks, my mom went into the hospital, and I had to have some really hard yet open money conversations with my brother and my sister about what our next move was going to be for my mom. And so it was like, oh man, I didn't expect that I personally would have to take that challenge so soon for myself. But I did. And thank God I wasn't afraid. So I was able to have the conversations with them openly about, what the expectation was, how much I could financially contribute. Not being afraid to ask them how much they could financially contribute, and then go from there. So remember, the Savvy Ladies is a nonprofit that exists to support women exactly where they are financially. And you can use their helpline at any time. I'll include the details down in the show notes, but you can also just go to their website, which is savvyladies.org/helpline. Here's the few things that I want you to ask yourself as we wrap up today's episode. Number one, ask yourself, have you been acting as the owner or the steward? Do you really understand the difference, and do you need more help understanding that? Number two, what financial burdens are you carrying that God never assigned to be yours? What are you worrying about financially that you need to give to the Lord? And what part of your finances do you need to surrender back to God? Are you in a church rooted and not giving to keep that house going? I hope today just gave you some more to think about when it comes to who is in control of your finances. Make sure that you subscribe if you have not already so you never miss an episode. Come back next week where we're going to talk specifically about faith over fear in your finances and how to trust God when money is really tight. And don't forget to check out the Savvy Ladies Financial Helpline. It's a free support resource for women seeking clarity and confidence in their finances. I'm Lilias Folks John, your Chief Stewardship Officer, and this is Faithfully Stewarding, where we honor God with every dollar.